seeing your friends get murdered and die from overdose, and like what's going through your mind? Like you're on this track of this lifestyle, and but like I imagine for a while you continue like
Mhm.
so like what's going on in your brain like when these things are happening?
Well, at that young age, I never felt like my life was in jeopardy. I
Mhm.
never felt unsafe. Um, my roommate at the time was very respectable and very dangerous, and he looked after me all the time. So I never felt unsafe when I was with him. And whenever I went out, I had another friend that was this other massive dude. Um, and yeah, nobody would like mess with me when these people were around. So basically, just being able to survive by reputation, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But like you never had the thoughts like, oh, like if this happens to these people, like this is where the lifestyle leads to. Like you never had that thought process.
Yeah, I knew that if I did keep going, yeah, it wouldn't end.
Was that something that developed later, like towards when you were turning yourself in, or was that like or like did you always feel that or?
So I got into 2 fights when I was in jail. And when I got beat up, that's when it kind of clicked in that like, hey, like, yeah, sometimes people won't touch me or mess with me when I'm on the street. But when I'm in jail and I'm by myself, who's got my back?
Mm-hmm.
I got to stick up for myself, and I'm not a good fighter. Yeah, so I know that like, and I'm also not a violent person, because I remember being in the fight. I've seen people fight and they have like this like rage and this anger where they just don't care what they're. It's like something checks out, and they just see black, and they're just wanting to inflict pain on people, and I'm not about that.
So you never had that experience, like even in your fight, like you didn't see black, you didn't know. Okay.
No, I didn't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What was prison like?
Well, the first year was provincial, and I had like one of my best friends around. So
you mean provincial, like for the uneducated of like the prison structure? What does that mean?
Yeah. So when you go into provincial, there's like in Winnipeg, there's a remand center and there's a Headingley jail. These are provincial jails. And anything less than 2 years of a sentence, that's where you serve your sentence. Or if you're waiting charges to be convicted, that's where you're staying.
Okay.
So I was there from November 9th, 2009 until December 7th or something, 2010. And then I pled guilty and I got 7 years and went to Stony Mountain. And then in Stony Mountain, you sit in intake with like 60 other people until they decide where they're going to put you in jail. Because at that point, Stony Mountain is like it's a I don't know what it's like anymore, but at the time, it was really heavily like gang run. Like they would have their own ranges and
ranges
like cell blocks.
Okay, cell blocks. Okay.
Yeah. And so I was in intake, and that's where the fights happened. And then I ended up in segregation, and for about 3 months, and then
segregation.
The whole
isolation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the guard there were basically saying like, why the fuck would anyone beat you up? Like you are tiny. Like it's just not even fair. The guy who beat me up, we even sat down before and he told me, I don't want to do this. I have to do this because my dad is friends with the people who put the hit on you. So he beat me up, and then he went out to Gen Pop, and there's this guy who used to be in my our old gang who broke his fucking arm for what he did, saying you like to beat up on little guys and beat the shit out of them. So there was like retribution for that, but I didn't ask for that, you know? But after I'd gone to segregation, that's when I kind of realized, and after my girlfriend broke up with me at the time, that's when I realized I'm like, hey, life is changing now. Like, once you kind of end up in that situation, you get like a reputation in there that's not good. Like, but like I stayed, I fought, but I knew that if it would happen again, so I left. And if you leave, you're basically like a bitch.
You leave what?
The range.
The range.
Yeah.
In isolation.
Yeah.
So you requested this?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long were you in isolation for?
3 months.
3 months. And then what happened?
And then when that guard said to me, like, you're not a violent person, I don't know why this happened to you. That's when they gave me minimum, and they put me in Rockwood.
Which is a different prison?
Yeah, it's actually outside the building. So you live in a house with like people, you cook your own meals. It's basically like that step for them to learn to like reintegrate you into society.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's medium, minimum, and max levels.
Okay.
So once you get down to a minimum level, you go to a different institution.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I went to Rockwood and then put in a transfer to ship out to BC here, and then ended up in Ferndale.
And you put in that transfer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing that you could do that.
Yeah, like CSC wants you to build.
CSC?
Yeah, Correctional Services of Canada.
Uh-huh.
They want you to have support when you get out.
Okay.
And my family was out here at the time. Yeah.
This seems more like they're focused on you trying to escape the lifestyle, like that they're trying to help you. Like, is that true, or?
That's their job.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And they do have programs and stuff for people to take, but like they're kind of a joke.
How so?
Well, when you commit some of these crimes, they want to know what you did them for, right? Mm-hmm. So some people will say like, I sold drugs to feed my addiction, or I was committing theft to sell shit to make money, right? Or I was violent because I have anger issues. Mm-hmm. So that means that you have to take a program for like anger management, or if you were doing it for addiction, you have to take an addiction program. Mine was straight up out of greed. I didn't have addiction problems. So there wasn't any suggested programming for me. So I had to seek out things to work on, to like have programs under my belt to show that I'm developing, even though things weren't recommended for me.
I see.
So I had to take the initiative for sure. And I know I did. I think I did good.
Well, you're out.
Yeah. And, you get... you have to have like the right parole officer, the one that's actually interested in helping you out, because often enough, it's literally just a power game. Sometimes there's a parole officer who just wants to flex on you and be able to tell you what to do,
and you were lucky that you got a good one?
Yeah. And I met someone in there that kind of like taught me how to earn my parole. Yeah. I kind of really owe it to him.
So like what things did you have to do to earn parole?
Stay out of trouble. Yeah, stay out of trouble. And do proactive things. Apply for unescorted temporary absences. So what that means, there's temporary absences where you can like leave the jail with an approved volunteer and like do work or something. And then there's unescorted ones where like my dad came to pick me up, and then I was able to go to their house for like 96 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And you get a taste of what life is like without being in jail.
And then you go back.
Yeah. And then that's now on like your file that like you've successfully completed a UTA. And then that's supposed to be like a check mark when you're going for your parole hearing.
Wow. I didn't know that existed. Like, I don't know if that exists in the States or not. I know the system is very different. It seems more harsh from the what I've seen on the documentaries, and that's all my only experience.
I think in the States it's just called work release.
Work release.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where you can actually like have a job and you get to like leave. You can do that in Canada too, but I think in the States, it's called work release.
Okay.
Yeah, but you probably have to get to a certain level, like minimum.
and you have to. It sounds like prove yourself in a variety of ways before they'll let that happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No violence, no like drugs. Yeah, just basically no institutional charges.
Are those things like uh what did you call it? The temporary absence?
Yeah.
Uh, is that for all crimes or like nonviolent crimes or?
Um, I think that if you have certain charges, you might not even be eligible.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I I don't know. You'd have to like check. You could just like look this up, but like I think it's like anyone that has violent offenses or like sexual related offenses, they're not eligible for temporary absences. I don't think. Yeah, but other ones, yeah, you can get like TAs to go to um, like NA meetings or AA meetings.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What role did your family play in helping you overcome your being institutionalized, like your lifestyle? Like you said that you got to go temporary absence.
Mhm.
What was like the conversations like, or like even before, like when you're going through like the process, like how, like were they trying to help you, guide you? Were they angry, like this, like how was that?
They were never angry. They knew that like if they were angry, then it just kind of pushes me further away. Um, and they also just knew that like I'm gonna do whatever I want to do at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, my mom would always, share her opinion on what she thinks I should do, and she would always express like some degree of worry and stress for me. Um, and yeah, my dad would always be there to kind of like, back her up for sure. But yeah, they wanted me to, be close. I even tried living over there with them for a little bit, but I couldn't do it. But yeah, they always just kind of like supported like my choices with like the pizza place and with yoga and karma teachers and yeah, yeah.
Wow. And moving forward a little bit, so um, let's go back to, you taught your first yoga class.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happened?
And then I just kept teaching.
You kept teaching.
Yeah, once a week, then 3 times a week, and yeah, the first time was super nervous. So then started to get the hang of it, and yeah, so just started putting together like playlists. And all I would teach is yin. I just loved yin, and yeah, it was seeing how much people were like benefiting it and enjoying it helped me also feel like I was able to kind of give something back and do something good, because I just spent so many years just doing bad shit that yeah, it was time to start tipping the scales.
And what goals do you have, like with your life from here on out?
Um, well, teaching is always going to be like a part of it for sure. Um, and I've started to acquire more certification for like got my 500 hour and my trauma responsive training. So it seems like teacher training is still in the cards for me.
Teaching, teacher training, or doing it, or
teaching training.
Okay.
Yeah. So that seems to be like happening by itself, and I'm not giving like a whole lot of like energy to it. It's just it's happening. And yeah, so that's going to be like always something that I'm working on. My part-time job at Tality is important to me too, but I really want to be having more time for myself to just like focus on my health and take care, because yeah, it's been a struggle since like October. My doctor told me that I have well, he assessed me, and yeah, I have like fibromyalgia.
I've heard this. Describe more about it.
Yeah, so the pain is just like so random, and and the fatigue is like unbearable sometimes. It's, and after doing more research on it, I felt like, okay, well, mine doesn't seem to be like that bad when I read about how other people's and how they're basically like just suffering in their life because of it. So I try not to like give into it too much and really like not let it take over my life.
Mhm.
But there's also a part of me where I have to be like face reality and be like, hey, this is like very real. Like today is a difficult day to like actually go to work and be on my feet all day. So yeah, dealing with like the mental weight of that has been had to adapt to that. But yeah, so like long term, probably like teacher training and traveling and podcasting.
Podcasting,
Yeah.
traveling. Where do you like to travel to?
I just I have a pardon in the process. So
A pardon? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
because I can't go to the States.
Oh, because of
The charges, yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah, and which would also limit me from like some other countries as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to uh, get that first, and then it also opens up the door for like employment as well too. Um, but yeah, I need to get that completed first before I can like make a choice of where I want to go.
It's difficult. It limits your work on what the jobs you can have
Yeah,
with your charges.
yeah.
What's your perspective on that?
Well, I mean, Canada just reduced the fee for pardons, and the pardon application is now much cheaper, but they're saying that it is focused towards helping people get better employment.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily focused on letting them like travel and go to places,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, it's something that I got to get under my belt, and then see what kind of doors open up for me.
Do you think it's good or bad or that to limit someone like you went to prison, you did your crimes, you paid for your crimes, right? That you when you get out, that you're limited on the types of jobs that you can have.
Yeah, I mean, so many people just like end up in construction because it's easy, and not I won't say easy, it's fucking hard, but because it's something that construction companies will like just take people on. But getting any kind of like office job or corporate job, or becoming some kind of like having some kind of like a title, like that's not easily available for anybody with a record, so yeah, it's tough. It's not easy. Yeah.
Do you agree that it's not easy, or do you think that's something that should be re-looked at?
There's definitely like some things that could be implemented. Like I think, yeah, once people have, I mean, they have, once you've had good behavior for X amount of years, then you can submit like your application to get the pardon. But I mean, with jobs, like on applications, they ask you like if you have criminal record, which they're actually not allowed to do from what I hear. But then also if you lie about it and they do a check on you, then like you're screwed. And so that's, I remember during the pandemic, all I wanted to do was I wanted to just drive for Uber, skip the dishes and just like do deliveries and stuff. But I couldn't because I had a record and they did a check on me. So it's like even one of like the most simplest basic jobs. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was kind of angry about that one.
Yeah, I agree on that. But particularly, I think if you want people to participate in society, right, that you shouldn't limit their employment options. However, I understand like if you've committed financial crimes, maybe you shouldn't work at a financial company.
Yeah, where you have access to people's personal information. Yeah, that's 100%.
Like I understand certain things, but like to for a company to say I can't hire you because you have a criminal record, it doesn't sound like that you've paid your penance.
Yeah, you know what? The guy from when I told my old employer at the pizza place that I had a record, his response was, well, it sounds like you've got a lot to lose. And I was like, yeah, I do. But like, that should have been like the first signal.
You have a
know?
lot to lose. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think that was like where he like started to learn to like take advantage of the situation, because he knew that I would always want to perform well.